Greetings, economists. Today's presentation is going to be a continuation of demand, and we're going to be talking about changes in demand. And the acronym we're going to use for the various things that affect demand, that shift the demand curve, are the TRIPE factors. Okay, so TRIPE is the acronym used for the demand curve shifts. Okay, the first one, T, tastes and preferences. Okay. The demand curve is going to be affected by advertising, trends, and health considerations. For example, the demand for dark chocolate is increased because research shows it has heart health benefits. So there's an example of health considerations. As well as demand for spinach is going to decrease when the FDA discovered there's E. coli. There was breakouts of E. coli in that in spinach. So that will decrease it. Another thing, taste and preferences, would be trends. So currently when the girls are now putting the kind of Native American feathers in the hair, that's a trend that's going to increase the demand for those feather thingies. I'm not really an expert on fashion, so I don't know that too well. Okay. When it leads to an increase in demand, it's going to shift right. So here the red is the initial demand, and the D1 is going to be the new demand after the taste and preferences have increased the demand schedule. For the demand at $1, it used to be 5, but after the new fad that went through, the demand at $1 of the good is going to be 12. Okay, so the new quantity demanded is 12. Same thing for the decrease. They found out that there's E. coli in the spinach, so the initial demand was at $1. The quantity demanded would have been 5. Now at the price of $1, the quantity demanded is 3 because of that change in taste and preferences. Related goods, the second TRIPE factor, it breaks it down into two different types of goods. We have complements, goods or services that are consumed and used together, and substitutes, goods and services that are used instead of other goods and services. For example, when the price of DVDs movies increases, the demand for DVD players decreases because people have less money to spend on, because there's going to be less of a demand for movies because of the increase in price. Okay, now substitutes. When the price of Cheerios increases, the demand for Wheaties is going to increase because Wheaties is going to be cheaper and they're easily substitutes. Again, here's the effects: the increase in demand, the decrease in demand. The third factor, income of consumers, kind of breaks it down into two goods as well: normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods, these are goods that as income increases, we consume more of it. So, for example, when the general income increases, it means there's going to be a higher demand for as kind of the better goods out there in society. On the flip side now, inferior goods, as income decreases, as income increases, we demand less. So as people get more income, there's going to be less of a demand for ramen noodles, because that's kind of an inferior good. Again, just changes with the graph again. The fourth factor is population. More people consuming means more demand, and this could result from immigration or emigration, okay, coming into the country, or people moving out of the country. As America's population grows, so does our demand for housing. Okay, so does our general food consumption, etc. Changing ethnic demographics. There's a huge influx of Norwegian immigrants. There's going to be a higher demand for lefse, as well as changing age demographics. All right, as baby boomers age, so does the demand for prescription drugs. And the last TRIPE factor is expectations. If consumers expect prices to rise in the future, demand is going to increase now because everyone wants to buy it cheaper now. Okay, if it's going to be more expensive in the future, people are going to stock up now. And if prices are going to fall in the future, the demand is going to decrease now because people are going to wait for it to be cheaper. And here's a big one that's kind of confusing. A change in quantity demanded is going to be the result of a change in the price of the product. So it's going to be on the same demand curve, it's just going to move along the curve, versus a change in demand where the entire demand curve is going to shift left or right.